Salome. Greetings. That means hello. Salome means hello and goodbye in the language of the Corinthians. I know David says Corinthians or whatever. I looked it up. I researched this. He told me to, and it's actually spelled with a K, Corindrians. Or I'm not Corindrians. It's with Drians. It's in Merkama. I believe is actually, he's mispronouncing it. It's actually Merkaba, or I'm not saying that's, maybe her name is really Merkama, but I have a feeling that Merkama probably said Merkaba because there is a star called that, and anyway, there's a whole lot of other details to that. It's real complicated and a lot, and it's not something that David just made up in his mind. There's actually a lot of people believe in this stuff apparently, and I honestly, he's got me believing in it, to be quite honest. There's something talking about it. It correlates with the ancient alien theory and the basically what the Bible talks about with when the angels or came down and slept with women and created these abominations called Nephilim that were half man, half celestial beings, fallen angels, and they ruled the earth, which is where all the gods and goddesses and the weird things that people are talking about, and that this is not stuff that they just made up because they were highly creative and stupid. It's because they were really experiencing being ruled over by these beings that were weird, often giants. They were weird abominations between man and celestial beings, and there was just a whole lot of weird drama and stuff that was not meant to have happened, because the angels basically kind of raped mankind and caused all this problems, which is why the flood happened. And so some of that evidence is, I'm sure, was wiped out, but there's plenty of evidence of all of this and these creatures that the Smithsonian, when they hold of them, apparently they tend to disappear. These giants and creatures and things that they find and keep finding weird. They just keep archaeologically finding evidence to what I'm telling you. Lots of different religions, lots of different archaeologists, anthropologists, historians, religious scholars of all different, or not religious people, but people who study like ancient religions and things, but in a intellectual, intellectually, not religiously. Anyhow, if you watch Ancient Aliens, or read any of that, if you're into that stuff, you already probably know a little bit of what I'm talking about or heard some of these things. And if you haven't, you probably think I sound like a crazy person, and you may be right. There's a lot of people with the same delusion going. A lot of people with the same delusion of what I'm saying. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. Me and Dave about that stuff, just everyday talk, whereas most people have no idea what we're even talking about. And so I don't know why anyway, I don't know why I'm saying that, because I wanted to give you an update about David, because I haven't talked about what's been going on. And I know a while back, I don't know if anybody follows my videos where I'm talking about the drama that I'm involved in now, wittingly. I could walk out any chances, But I didn't intentionally get into this situation to get in the middle of all of this and start or I didn't mean to be a catalyst of these events necessarily, although if I had been told ahead of time, I still probably would have done it. It's just, it's just, all I can say is that September, actually, it was in May of 2019. Like a few weeks to a month before, my mom had discovered this weird prayer I'd never heard of before, called St. Michael's Prayer, that someone named, I can't think of, it's something, it's like Summer Wolf or something, some name like that, some Native American sounding name. This person apparently came up with, according to what I've read into it. I haven't done a lot of research into it. I just know my mom prayed this really weird prayer called the St. Michael's Prayer, and I have it in some of my videos somewhere. I'm sorry, I'm not very organized and good at keeping up with my channel, because I just started doing this really as, because David keeps telling me to put things up on the internet. And I was like, David, I don't have a platform. Nobody cares what I say. Just put it up on the internet anyway. And so, that's why I started building my YouTube channel, really because I was trying to tell people what's going on with David, because he keeps telling me to tell people. And, but then he tells me to stop telling people, and then he tells me to tell people, and then he tells me to stop. And then I do tell people, and then I get, when shit hits the fan, he ducks, and I get it. But I still keep getting back into it because I can't help it. I really genuinely care about David, and I feel, honest to God, like God put us in each other's paths for some kind of purpose, because we have the weirdest, we have really weird synchronicities about our lives that it's so many things I can't even go into. But anyway, it's just a lot of weirdness. But it's just started out in May of 2019. I've always been a fan of Tim and Eric and all of that. Channel 5. I love Tim and Eric. Totally awesome. Great job. And Channel 5 and Rules. And of course, I love David. But I never in a million years would have imagined as a fan, I mean, a real big time fan, me and my brother both. And me and my brother, we have a kind of a volatile relationship. So we either love each other or hate each other. And the one bond that we actually have, where we got along for like a good 2 years without fighting, and I believe it only is because of my friendship with David, and my brother and me both are such big fans of his, that he must think I'm cool enough that he doesn't want to piss me off because of my friendship with David. And that's really, but whatever works, God works in mysterious ways. Now we haven't been speaking lately. I don't know if he's pissed at me still or just doesn't know how to get in touch with me, and probably I'm pretty sure with the help of Jonah, took down my page, and I'll fix that if I have to go to court about it. I don't care. That it was over. I don't even understand how or why, what grounds. They don't even explain. They don't even give you a chance to appeal it. They say, but they do the research into it, and you don't get to explain anything or make any kind of like rebuttal of what they're accusing you of. You're breaking community standards or whatever. I don't know. They're such control freaks. And if you say something in like facetiously or like making fun of Hitler, it's got a picture of Hitler, you're to say hate speech. No, I'm not like promoting Hitler. It's like a meme of Hitler, like silly things like that. They'll use anything they can if you are not on their this whole like agenda. And I'm not even gonna go into all that. If you don't know, if you can't see what's going on, then I'm not gonna just say, I'm not gonna be the one to tell you, because you're just gonna get mad at me and not believe me anyway. And just be happy in your bliss of ignorance, and I won't break it to you. You'll figure it out when you do. Hopefully not before it's too late to do anything about it. But anyway, but yeah, my mom said this weird prayer back in May 2019, and in May, Jonah, he calls himself David's manager. He is not David's manager. First of all, he's not qualified. He is not licensed in California to be the kind of manager. Now, to be a merchandising manager, to be anything that the entertainment arena, if you are managing or an agent, it doesn't matter what you call it. If you're practicing as an agent, call it manager, if you will. That still doesn't change the fact that you're behaving as an agent. You are practicing without a license, and it's not like they're going to come arrest you over that. It's just that when someone does that, and the reason they have this law in California, I'm not necessarily, as a libertarian, I usually don't like the government intervening in these kinds of things, that they should just be dealt with in court, as they come, and not make a whole thing for everyone in most cases. But it just, whatever. But I can actually see in the case of California why it would be necessary because of this kind of situation. And apparently this is a very common thing. The tragedies of most Hollywood people is actually a lot to do with this. The industry is so predatory. I mean, everybody knows this, but until you actually talk to people that are in it, and if you're in it yourself, it's not the same, because you're going to be brainwashed by it. People like me who's not in it and hearing from the outside, seeing and witnessing what's going on, and then hearing from their own mouth what's going on behind the scenes, and the shit that they put up with. It's actually criminal. It's true abuse. It's abuse. It goes into the realm of slavery and exploitation, and even human trafficking. And from what I've heard, now I wasn't there. I can only tell you what I've heard from the people, or at least one person that's experienced it. And then I've heard many that I know personally. And then I've heard so many other stories from so many other celebrities, along with long-standing rumors of so many celebrities that we're just now learning their past and how they're connected with cults of weird kind of religions, some satanic. They're all satanic, honestly, but not necessarily of the particular religion, Church of Satan. That's actually a certain religion in and of itself. They don't even believe in God or Satan. So, I mean, that's usually what they tell. They've always told me. I actually kind of respect them more than I respect, like, people. I don't know. I mean, they believe they actually have weirdly similar law or ways of seeing things as Christians do, but not really. I don't know how to explain it, but in a way, I think more like this. they respect boundaries, at least it seems like to me. Anyway, I digress. I can actually respect the Church of Satan people more than even some people that claim to be Christians, in that they really disrespect, I can totally relate, even though I'm a Christian, or I don't mean that as in there's some certain religion that I practice, because I don't believe that's truly spiritual, although it can be. But people are often religious and not very spiritually minded if you really look at their lifestyle and see of their life. Sorry. It's not COVID. I don't think. It's my allergies. My asthma flares up when I have allergies. Anyway, but where was I going with this? I know I always chase rabbits when I come on here and talk, because there's so much I have to talk about. I don't even know where to begin, and then I get distracted with my own thoughts. It's like there's just so much, which is why I feel like I need to come on here and tell somebody, because it's so much. It's overwhelming me, and I can't really say all of it, because anytime that David keeps telling me not to let my right hand know what my left hand is doing. That is the passage that's something that comes from the Bible, where Jesus says that when you do alms for someone, don't let your right hand know what your left is doing. When you're doing good for someone, or when you're praying to God, one-on-one, not to do it in front of people, because if your motivation is to look how spiritual I am, or you know what I'm saying, or to make people like you, you're people pleasing. You know what I'm saying? If you do it for that reason, then you're not doing it for a spiritual reason, and that's not what God wants, and it doesn't count for spiritual purposes. You get your reward for everybody patting you on the back and, oh yeah, look how spiritual you are. If that's what you want, then sure, go ahead, do that. But if you want your reward from God, don't let your right hand know what your left hand is doing. In other words, keep it to yourself and let it just be between you and God. Because if it's really about faith and serving God and doing what is right and not for selfish gain, only God, God knows, and you don't need to prove to anyone else, you don't need affirmation from anyone else. If you really believe that it's coming from God. If you think, if you knew how much God would bless you if you just went to him and you didn't seek the affirmation or reward in other ways out, it's not that he's punishing you or anything. It's just that you put your energy and you got your reward. There are laws and rules to how, he created the world. There's a certain natural order to things. And it's not that God's punishing you if you receive the consequences of what, how you played the game, he'll tell you, look, I created this and I know how to beat the game. I know all the cheat codes, whatever. I can even cheat, I can come in and intervene on your behalf if you're about to die, and it can go against the rules, but I can change it up, because I can reprogram it if I need to real quick on your behalf. I mean, I'm kind of using it on terms of it's a Sims game or something. I'm sorry, sometimes that's how it makes sense to me. It's a lot more complicated than that. But if you ever play that game, it's really weird. It kind of makes you think of maybe, God is, we are like kind of like there's an inner, I don't know. I'm going on another rabbit hole, down another rabbit hole. But okay, so I'm not going to go back into the whole prayer thing again. I always talk about that, but it seemed to have manifest the weirdness of David into my life. And I mean that with all respect, because it's weird. I mean, I'm weird. Weird is normal to me. People who aren't, I mean, don't have some kind of, I like weird. I like quirkiness. I like things that are outside of the norm. I like things that break the mold. I don't like everything being the same. I don't like nothing wrong with people having similarities and enjoying having things in common. But that just gets boring to me. That's just how I am. Some people prefer sameness more than I do, but I don't think there's anything wrong with feeling comfort in your peers, I guess. But it's very healthy to branch out into other, figure out, if somebody is different in a way that maybe even you don't like, you'd be surprised if you got to know that person. You would understand more of why they're that way. And I guarantee you would understand and probably have compassion for that person, because most negative things that we don't like in people has something to do with something that they're fearful about, or they feel threatened by, they're feeling insecure, and if you realize that's why they're behaving that way, you would actually feel sorry for them, and you wouldn't take it so personal. You would actually realize, oh, I mean, maybe they're jealous of me, and gosh, it's kind of flattering actually, or they think that I'm much more successful than I really am, or maybe I don't realize I'm somebody that somebody could be jealous of, and I should take that as a compliment. That's how I've learned to cope with negative people, because I experience a lot of them. I'm an empathic person, and empaths are they notoriously attract narcissists and predatory, parasitic type people who do not have their own light within themselves, and empaths naturally feel the need to heal others, and they'll even, whether they even realize it or not, sacrifice their own energy to give to someone else's who's in need. But there are certain parasitic people that they don't want help, really. I mean, they want help, but they don't want you to fix their problems. They just want to keep living their dark, parasitic lifestyle and suck your energy out, because they don't have their own. They're so dark and they're so depraved that they have to suck out of others to have. And if you've ever experienced those type of people, narcissists, some people call them people with a Jezebel spirit. I believe that. I believe in that. I don't know if that's really this name of that spirit, but it's Jezebel in the Bible was a very evil, narcissistic, sociopathic, psychopathic person, and with this type of trait that people have named whatever. It seems to be an entity that is inside of people that possesses them and takes control of them, and they will do things that don't even seem logical, and they're just evil and depraved, and because they're under the influence of these dark negative entities, and unless they're delivered and do everything they need to do to keep that spirit from coming back in, like not inviting that spirit back in, because if you've ever been delivered from possession, you are much more vulnerable to be possessed again, and much stronger and harder the next time. If you are not truly saved, you can be delivered and not necessarily get saved, and under the blood of Christ. And if you don't know what that means, that sounds really weird and probably creepy if you don't understand that. And I apologize. I could see how it does. And it is actually, if you study the spiritual realm and how things work and why and understand all that stuff, it's actually very scary and creepy. And but I mean, if you study science, it's also scary and creepy, but yet not true science, but modern what word am I going for? Like modern day science. It's more like a commercial thing. It's not real science. It's actually belief systems on certain scientific theories that are usually bought and paid for by people that want to push these scientific theories. Today, people, if any kind of person with a coat on and it says they're a scientist says this is how it is, for some reason they think that's how it is, and they don't question that science. Like, there's all kinds of scientists that have different theories about everything, and there's not really one person that gets to decide what the science is. Science is just the study of nature. That's all science is. It is just the study. So if you just decide this is how it is, and you don't let anybody else decide for themselves or have an opinion, that's not science. That's like a religion. That's no longer science anymore. You're just pushing a faith. You're pushing your own hypothesis or whatever. That's not science. And today we think science is this commercial thing that we're pushed to believe what science is. Oh, a scientist says it. Why don't you just let the scientists they know what they're talking about. No scientific thinker lets other people do the science for them. Any scientific thinker is going to test their hypothesis. They want to see for themselves, and then they're going to even test their own research, because a true scientific thinker always is searching for the truth and knows that their own senses can be wrong. We're prone to error, and every scientist knows, and I don't know how it's not obvious to even the layperson if you just observe patterns in the throughout history. I've noticed as a child that it seems like science seems to change every 5 to 10 years or so. That we say this is science, and then we look back 10 years later, we're like, oh my God, we thought that was science. But then anytime there's a fad of what science tells us, we're like, that's science. Let the scientists think. And then we're all recalling, oops, we were wrong about that. Comes to find out. Well, turns out that the science of that time was wrong, and we always find out. later on that the science of the time that everybody thought was surely the science and the truth was wrong. And we think, oh, those people are so silly to have thought that. But whatever we think is the truth now, 10, 20, 100 years from now, we're going to look back and think, I can't believe we thought that was science. You know, how is this not obvious? Anyway, so the study of spirituality and, culture and religion and even what people, metaphysical sciences, they're all science. It's all science. Even religion, still science. How much you want to bet that's David? Hold up. I don't know if it is, but it probably is. I just have a feeling. Yep. Hello. Okay. Well, do you mean next year, September? Because you said for next year. Or, okay, so you're open, if we find something sooner than next year, you're open to that. Okay. Okay, good. Good. I'm glad. I'm so glad because I thought maybe they would be mad at you after I called them. But I won't. I swear I won't. I promise I won't. I only did that hoping they would. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Good. I knew he'd start being nice to you after that. Yeah, I know. Yeah. Is he a vegan too? Well. Yeah, well, it's I can look it up. Hold on. Hold on.
Well, I did, since it's too bad she's not going to be, so she's going to go back to making furniture, but there's no.
Okay, David, hold on one second. I was live on YouTube, so let me take it off here. So I don't want to record your conversation. So, do you have anything you want to say while people are listening before I end it?
Okay.
You want to say anything to your fans?
I just want to wish my fans, if your fans could be so nice to send me a food cards.
Yeah, he doesn't get his food stamps right now.
I will send you an autographed picture or one of my or a gift. I definitely need you to send it to me. Give me a call at 323-504-2532. They stop my food stamps, and I definitely need to get a food voucher, or if you can buy a card at Trader Joe or Food for Less. I'll send you an autographed picture. The one who sends the most, like a $20 gift certificate for Trader Joe or any of the or Food for Less or Kroger's. I will send them a CD, and they send me a $40 food card. I will send them something that's even more than that.
Well, David, we'll work something out special for somebody that sends you money or food. Okay.
Okay, I really appreciate that. Yeah, I have a package coming tomorrow.
Okay. Do you want me to turn the YouTube off?
Yeah, turn the YouTube off.
Okay. All right. And everybody go see David if you're local to Los Angeles. He's performing on the streets locally right now until he does his next stuff with Tim and Eric. So go out and see him if you want to see him live and in person and get his autograph.
3rd Street Promenade, Santa Monica Pier, Monday, every Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday and Saturday. I won't be there tomorrow because I have a package coming from FedEx, but I'll be there Saturday.
All right, you heard it from the horse's mouth.
Hollywood Bowl all this summer, all until August, and I have to work for Tim and Eric in September, so I'll be gone in September. Okay, love you all, fans. Thanks for being there for me.
All right. Okay. All right, I'm going to turn it off, David. Bye, everyone. Okay, I turned it off.